If your cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life, put some cash in your life. Cause what's the credit score when you got your cash right? Put some cash in your life, put some cash in your life. If your cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life.
YouTube Zodiacs, what's good? Is your favorite Gemini, KashDaGemini, and I am back with another episode of the Cash and Now Show. It's kind of crazy because we're already up to 27 weeks, but only 26 shows because the 12th show was a holiday episode with who was it? Me, John, Todd, Toy Quest, bunch of people in the community. I can't really remember all the names. My apologies, but we're having fun. In episode 27, we do have Kris Barton here, so I appreciate you being here. And how's it going on a Thursday? It's pre-TGIF, man.
Yeah, how's it going? It's good to be here. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's crazy, I always try to, rush and get everybody. I know I reached out before, but it's crazy because sometimes it's just perfect timing.
Yeah.
I was talking with King as well, and I'm like, hey, man, we'll make it happen when the time is right. So no rush, but definitely appreciate you coming.
Oh, my pleasure. King's chicken. He's waiting for me, so I got to set the tone for the big man. So, yeah, no, David, you're next.
It's crazy. He had put a picture up of a couple of his statues and whatnot, and I seen the picture, and you're looking at the cool collection and whatnot, and then I'm like, wait, XM. I'm like, oh, you really are the king of XM. Like, I didn't see a single sideshow Prime one.
No, he is. He is the king of XM. He knows what he's talking about. He does. And you know what? Man. A lot of people don't know this, but he's an even better guy and a better friend. He's a great man.
Cool.
I talk to him every day. He's a good guy.
Yeah, when he gets to talking, I always say, kind of think to myself, kind of like in the Boy Scout movies where they're around a campfire and you got the crazy uncle talking about a random story or whatever. I'm like, all right, man, get your marshmallows and graham crackers ready. Oh man, what's going on, everybody in the chat? I appreciate you guys being here. I see you guys starting to trickle in. We got Edwin in the building. Dennis Perez, what's going on? Gotham Cinnabites, appreciate you being here, man. Rome Ross in the building. What's up,
Rome?
J Rob, what's good, man? Hey, J Rob, I'm not sure the date. It got shipped yesterday is Wednesday, so possibly Tuesday, maybe. Check the mail. It'll come. Something's coming from me, so I appreciate you. Just wanted to send you something for your retirement, man. Jedi Chisel, what's going on, man? Vane 21, what's good? Pudgy, what's up, Poly Stoners? Fatal the Collector in the building, what's good, man? Vibranium Jim, Trey Smith, oh man, Jason,
and everyone's
Cash
here. You're the man, Cash.
Hey, I'm just trying to have fun, man. Casual nerd problems, what's going on, man? Aiden Martinez, what's good? So yeah, guys, we'll go ahead and get started as you guys are trickling in. Again, I appreciate everybody being here. And just to start it off, you're a West Coast guy, is that right?
Born and raised.
Oh,
Cali.
man. So, is it true about the rainstorms and the earthquakes and all that?
Well, we had 3 earthquakes today, and it's been raining all day.
Seriously? Oh,
No.
Okay. I'm like, oh man.
No. The quakes are few and far between. I can't even remember the last time I felt one, but it is raining today. So
does that ever cross your mind when it does come to statue stability, as far as a good sturdy case or anything?
These bad boys aren't going anywhere.
Gotcha. Now those are Maji cases, right?
Yes, sir. Those are. I have in this room. I have 6 PF. What is it? DF 140 pluses. They're huge.
Okay.
But for some pieces, they're just not big enough. Even still, pause. But yeah, we got something yesterday that I had to adjust what we put in there and how we display them. So we'll maybe see that a little bit.
So you can modify the Maju cases I guess shelf wise.
No. No, not these.
No, okay.
Not these. I have them all connected and they're all sealed together. So there's not a whole lot of dust that comes in here. Plus, I have an air filtration system in here. So there's no whole lot of dust in here. So dusting's a very minimal thing in the collector's room. But yeah, if you can spend the money on them, they're well worth it. They're well worth. In fact, I have an extra one in the garage that I was trying to figure out how I was going to use.
So you're probably the only person I've ever seen with, white opposed to black. Like, is that custom or?
No, it's funny. That's one of the reasons why I went this route with them. The silver and white really, really are nice. You just don't see them. I like to be a little bit unique. Plus, it matches the decor of the house, and so
yeah.
The interior decorator in me got me there. But it took about 6 months to get. Brian and his group were great through the whole process. I haven't looked back. They've been great.
Yeah, cool, man. And obviously without getting too personal, I'm only taking it here based off of something that you said. And I've done a lot. Like, I've done a lot this week. Between Jerry, Arch, who else said something? Man, I can't remember everyone's name. A lot of people said so. I'm like, I gotta reinforce my stuff, man, because like I got this big game Predator from Prime One, and like it was just so heavy. I'm like, I just feel like my boards is gonna snap or something's gonna happen. So I go to reinforce them. I'm at Michael's. I'm getting some other stuff for the statues. I feel like I'm doing a lot. I'm getting fabric, to cover up the wood look. I'm doing a lot to spruce them up. Do you feel like, based off of what you do in your like employment life, has anything to do with it? Anything to do with your hobby, or is it just me who feels like I'm at the fabric store more? I'm looking for lights. I'm like an interior designer, man.
No, I think there's a couple of things. First, you never want to outspend your means, and you always want to be responsible. And if you have, let's be honest, the hobby that we're in takes a lot of money to fund, and that money should be discretionary income. And if you don't have it, you shouldn't be spending it. Now, with all of that being said, I'm a big believer that roughly you should be spending roughly 10 to 15% of the value of your collection on your displays and insurance.
Okay, so you're saying like if you have $10,000 worth of statues, for example, about 1,000 should go into shelving, lights, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Think about it. I mean,
I can see that.
10,000, that's roughly 10 pieces.
Yeah.
And to do it right. Now you could do some really cool stuff. I've seen a lot of creative stuff with, the Gladiator shelving and all that. I mean, before I had these, I had the IKEA PAX units, and I dressed those up. In fact, they're in my garage now, but I had those dressed up with the lights, and they look pretty sharp, but it just wasn't going to be the total solution that it needed to be. So that's why I went with the Magic cases.
Yeah, no doubt.
I wasn't going to be happy until I got them. So,
yeah. Hey, Arch, you kind of threw me off, man. I'm not even going to put that one on the screen, man.
God love him.
This guy.
God love him.
Oh, man. I tried to keep it together, man. What's going on, everybody? Razor Ramon, I see you trinkling in as well. Darth Rashid, Kris, and Cash. What's up? Oh, hang in there, Rashid. Hang in there, man. Yeah, I went with garage shelving though myself. I'm actually very happy with how it looks, because before I was kind of doing like a I guess you could say like the eight cubes that you could get at like your Walmart or whatever, and I would just put the statues on top of there, put some books inside of it or some 1/10s. But
yeah,
I was just using anything I had, and then I started kind of doing the research and stuff as to like what's best for my budget as of now. However, once I do get kind of more like, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, stable, I could see myself upgrading the Magic cases at that point. Like once I know like the measurements and
there are solutions out there that will fit a lot of different budgets and a lot of different collectors' needs out there. I know there's a new one out there. What are they? The legendary cases, I think they are.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are really nice, and those are even more expensive than the Maji cases. So, you know, it's all, you know, beauty's always going to be the eye of the beholder. And like I said, if you can go out and spend the money and do something like this, that's fantastic. But you know what? I've seen some really sick actually has really good displays, and his is just straight wall shelving, you know, bolted into the walls, and it looks fantastic. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
you know, you got to do what's going to be best for you.
yeah, yeah, man, for sure. So like going taking a trip back in memory lane. You know, we could start at any age, any age.
I'm pretty
What's the
old.
first what's the first comic related character that you remember seeing?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You already know the answer to that question. I grew up a Spidey guy from the moment I was born. It was Spider-Man everything when I was a kid. I had
Yeah.
everything. I had everything.
Cool, man. That's
And it
what's
kind of
up, you
stuck with me.
know.
Kind
So
of stuck.
like so what was the first statue that you ever got? Was it anything Sinister Six related?
So, you know, are you talking about the like the big stuff that we have that I have now, or are you just talking
No,
about
just anything collectible
you
related.
know, I started I was mostly with comics, obviously. And I would always see the Bowen stuff at the comic shop. And you know, I got a couple of the Bowen pieces, and I always thought they were kind of cool. But they didn't have the presence that I really wanted. They were cool and everything, but I you know, stumbled across a couple of the bigger pieces, like the sideshow pieces, and I was like, "What are these?" And you know, I researched it a little bit, and I stumbled across XM Studios, because my
Was that just
Bowen
web
pieces were all
surfing?
Fantastic Four, um, and I had all four. I had Doom, um, and XM Studios is the one that caught me, and I started really doing some research and looking up, and it was no holding back after that. Before you know it, I'm reaching out to Todd, and I've got Mysterio on the way, and Doc Ock
Nice.
pre-ordered, and Spider-Man pre-ordered, and it was a slippery slope after that.
So if you ever were to sell a statue, those would be the ones that would be off limits.
I, you know, it's a great question. Spidey would be the last to go. Spidey would be the last to go. The whole line.
Gotcha.
It's all up there. But
So so
yeah.
I see a couple Avengers there with Groot, and then obviously on the opposite side I see a Wolverine. So clearly I'm seeing a Marvel based theme here.
Yeah.
Are you a DC fan at all?
Yeah, I am. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Batman doesn't hold a candle to Spider-Man. I think our friend Darth Rashid can verify that as well. Um, but I focus my collections mainly Marvel. It's Spidey, X-Men, and then the Marvel Cosmic Universe, which could branch out into a number of different ways. So that's
Man,
what's
dude,
over
that's
here.
crazy. Yeah. That's literally my room. My room is literally Spider Man, Avengers, X Men, and then Predator. And I've made DC like a back burner. Like I have a very small like second room, and I'm like, hey man, once I get there, I'll just throw it in there. It's like the back burner. So it's kind of funny hearing that.
Well, I
But I
mean, you kind of have to be that way in terms of you have to streamline, you know,
yeah.
your direction. Otherwise, because in this hobby, you can, you know, that buckshot can go any number of different places, and you're spending money that you're going to regret in a lot of ways. And so,
But how do you get there? Because when you're new into collecting, like when you first like not even seeing them on in hand, like in pictures or on stream, but when you get that first one,
mhm.
in hand, next thing you know, you're looking, and it's like you're not thinking, okay, Gotham, you're not thinking, Gotham City Sirens or Birds of Prey. You're thinking, oh, that's Galactus, that's Sinister Six, that's
Mhm.
this. Like you're all over the place. So how
Yeah.
did you narrow that focus down?
Discipline, knowing what I want, knowing what I was going to have the room for, knowing what I was going to enjoy uh, the most. And I've always been a huge Spidey fan. You can't step on anything without tripping over something in the X-Men in this community.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty easy to get. But you just have to know your limits, and you have to be able to stop sometime. You have to be able to say no. And it's okay to say no. Our good friend Rodney says you don't have to buy everything. You can live vicariously through YouTube and the videos that you see and be perfectly happy with that. There are some absolutely fantastic DC pieces out there. Prime One does most of them.
Yeah.
But I don't do DC and I don't do 1/3 because if I did, I wouldn't have room. And I'm limited. My lovely wife limits me. So
Speaking of the significant other, how is yours in terms of the hobby? Is it kind of like, hey, Kris, don't go too far, or is it no?
no, not at all. I have an amazing wife, Sandra. If you're watching, but she knows I work hard. She knows I put in my time, and I don't do a lot of crazy stuff outside the house. And so if this makes me happy, she's happy, and love her for that. She has her space, I have my space, and just so happens my space is much cooler than hers. So,
Dude, like I'm not trying to say nothing, but like if you look at my area and you look at her area, I'm just saying my area is nice and neat. It's well laid out. It's thought out. Everything is like, I'm just saying, like it's cool, man. It's cool,
it is when people come over to the house and they step in, what's that? And all you hear is wow. That's always kind of a neat moment, because a lot of people, I mean, we've seen all these things and we're very much
Yeah.
accustomed, and we can point out everything. Oh, that's by this, that's by that, that's by this. But there's a lot of people that have no idea what these are. And when they see it,
Oh
it's
yeah.
really, it's an eye opener. So that's always kind of fun.
Yeah, like I had a friend, come over. I got a new couch. He had to help me bring it down into the room, and he turned around. He's just like, whoa, like he knew I was into like stuff, but like he hadn't been over since we moved, and he's just like, wow. He's taking pictures to show his girlfriend and stuff, and he's just like, hey man, can I take a picture of this? Like, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. And it's like, you just be surprised people's first reaction when they see this. It's like they're like, this exists? Like, where'd you get this?
Yeah.
And it's also kind of scary on the flip side, because like tomorrow, before it gets hot here, because in the Midwest, I got about another month or so before it gets like really warm. Our AC went out, so we have to get a new AC. So we got somebody coming out tomorrow that's going to be taking a look, and I'm just like, dang, man, he's going to have to pass the statue room. And like, a part of me is like, dude, do I just like hide all my stuff in another room, stay up all night? And then another part of me is like, you know what, whatever. But
yeah,
I'm like
like
fearful,
that
man.
Like that door gets closed.
Yeah.
That door gets closed.
I don't know, that bothers me, like I know he's just gonna come do his job, but part of my mind is like, yo man, it's gonna be like some Joe Pesci inside job or something. I'm like paranoid. Oh, it's all good, man. But speaking of like, family members and friends, is there anybody who doesn't know you do this hobby and they have been over and they happen to get a glance of it?
No, for the most part, most of our extended family is out of state. Most of my wife's family is in on the central coast of California, about 5 hours away from us. So they don't come up too much. They've seen it, but a lot of my extended family has never seen it.
Yeah, same here.
And that's okay. You know what? This collection's private for me. Is what I enjoy. I don't do it
Mhm.
for other people. I do it for myself.
Yeah.
Unless I get something I really want, and then I get to show it to one person in particular, and you know
Yeah.
who you are, and we're going to talk about it probably really soon. Hi,
Oh
Corey.
man. Yeah, let's cue that up real quick.
Hi, Corey.
Darth Rashid, man, what is going on?
So this is funny because this is serving two purposes. My XM Apocalypse came yesterday, which I was very happy to get. But also, I wanted to be able to show everybody how they display statues in New York City. So I know our good friend Darth Rashid displays his collection this way, and I think it's wonderful. I think he's done a great job with it, and I hope that he could, critique mine and make sure I've got the corners matched up correctly.
Oh man. Oh man, that's funny. Hey, shot Chris.
And he'll be displayed just like you see here.
Oh man. Rashid, don't trip, man. Don't trip over the collection, bro.
Hey, you know what though? Seriously, if he's ever selling anything and you're looking for something, that's the guy to get it from.
Yeah.
Whatever you're getting from him, it's immaculate. He's one of the best collectors out there.
Hey, just be fair with him about the shipping, and I 110% understand him on that, cause man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, so there's the big guy right there. He's pretty
This is
awesome.
a beautiful statue. Was this a day one for you?
Yes. Yeah.
No hesitation.
No. No. Even with the controversy with the change in the colors and going to the violet, blue, purple, it doesn't bother me at all. It is. I've looked at it in both warm and the cool light, and it is definitely a little bit on the purple side.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. I think this is an amazing piece. It's heavy. It is heavy, heavy, heavy. But if you're an X-Man fan, you don't have an Apocalypse. You got to get this one. And
Yeah.
My good friend Jerry, I keep telling him he needs to get this. In fact, there he is right there. I'm trying to talk my man Jerry into buying this one. And for those of you who don't know, Jerry's my sponsor. He's helping me prevent myself from buying more statues, and he does a very, very terrible job at it. But love him anyway.
Dude, Jerry has like two of some statues, which is kind of like
Yes, he does.
kind of
Yes, he
crazy.
does. Yes, he does.
Oh
Yes, he
man.
does. No, great guy. And that, you know what, honestly, especially for anybody who's new in the community, that's probably the best part about the community is
Yeah.
the people that you come across and the people that you meet and get to know, and it takes you down paths that you never really have gone down anyway. I mean, when I was doing my research, I mean, that's how I met Thor, and we started going back and forth. I've known that guy for over 2 years now, and yeah, he says not buying it. He's buying it. He's buying it. Pusher Jerry's gonna buy that. But yeah, no, that's the great thing about it. I mean, look at this, Cash. A couple of years ago, I don't think we would have ever had this conversation. And this community does more than just we collect statues, but it's a community where we interact with one another, and we have a good time talking and giving each other a lot of crap, and sharing both our highs and our lows in this hobby, and that's what's so great about it. And it's not just a YouTube thing; it's an everything thing. And there's a lot of really great friendships that are forged
Yeah.
through hobbies like this.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because 2 years ago, you know, had about a month prior, he had just got sent home to work from home, with the pandemic and whatnot. And, that kind of led to a lot more free time, because I had the type of job where like you can kind of clock in whenever, as long as my manager was basically like, as long as you got 40 at the end of the week, I really didn't care. So cool. With that, it was like a lot of free time. So fast forward to around April of 2020, exactly 2 years ago, I was watching DCX on YouTube, and I'm at the gym and stuff, you know what I mean? And it's crazy fast forwarding 2 years, getting to like be in the hobby, getting to have statues, have pieces, getting to know you guys individually, and you do get to build those bonds with
Yeah.
individuals. You get to become friends, and like you said, like even if it's like, for example, if you're selling this Apocalypse, for example, it's like there's a trusted person in the community that you could buy that from, and that goes into like the whole like goods and services, friends and family thing, and having
Hmm.
those references and all that type of
Hmm.
stuff, which is really cool, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of booger eaters out there that really ruin it for the rest of us, and that's the beautiful part about having forums like this, and all of the Facebook groups that we're in, to be able to kind of help each other through all this. And it's cool. I mean, that's the honestly, don't get me wrong, I love these pieces here, but it's the fact that I interact with a Jerry every day, or with David.
Yeah,
I talk to Thor, and I'm doing this with you right now. This is really one of the highlights for me, is the people aspect of it. It's really great.
yeah. Jerry, don't sell the Electra, man. I will get to you in a couple months, I promise. Don't sell the
No.
Electra, man.
See, he's a pusher.
What new XM statues you have on order? Ghost Rider on horse is the only XM
Oh,
one.
Darth Rashid loves that
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, I
He loves
think I
that
think
piece.
that is the only XM one. Cause I got Rogan a couple of days ago. I gotta unbox it. Oh, sorry. XM Iron Spider Man will be here. Soon. So
I like that
shout out
one too.
Todd, man. Did you
Yeah, I
pick
like
that
that
one
one
up,
too.
or
What's that? No,
did you pick that one up?
no,
No. Okay.
nope, no, I did not.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's right. Hey, man, shout out to the chat, man. Did you cancel the flash? No, I kept the flash first flash. I forgot, man. I appreciate you guys. It's bad, man. Leave me alone, guys. Leave me alone, man. So when it comes to Spider-Man in the collection, are you the type of collector, especially since Spider-Man being your hero? Are you able to have a symbiote, a red and blue suit, Iron Spider-Man,
Mhm.
2099 Spider-Man?
Not all of them. Like some of them, I'm just not into. Like the 2099, believe it or not, I'm just not into. The symbiote Spider-Man's great. Actually, the sideshow symbiote piece is probably one of the best symbiote pieces that I've seen. Um, I haven't gotten around to getting it, and mostly that's because with sideshow they're going to make 20,000 of a piece, so you can get it whenever you want. Um, but yeah, no, it wouldn't stop me. Now I'm just
Yeah.
getting into a space problem because I have an outrageous amount of stuff coming in the next 24 months that is going to fill this room up quite a bit.
Does that bother you? Space in terms of like in terms of I guess you could say like an end game. Do you ever see an end game to collecting, or do you see like the Wolverine behind you? I'll just upgrade it to a better Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it depends. I mean, it really depends. I know a lot of people know I get a lot of custom pieces. I'm, walking away from that a little bit. I am honoring my commitments there, but once I'm, started getting some of these pieces in hand, I'll be walking away, and I'll pretty much just be uh, XM only. I mean, I know down the pipe, I know Galactus will be one that I'll get almost for sure. I don't like saying for sure, but almost for sure. I'll get Galactus, and then I know they're gonna do a Doom, and that's one that I need to get. So they'll do Doom
Oh,
right.
dude, that's the channel logo, bro. That's the channel logo. I
Um,
like Doom.
yeah, and then Mister Sinister. Mister Sinister is one that I need to get too. So
Is there has there been any word on Fantastic Four being done, like the Thing, Human Torch, anything like that?
I know it's in their pipeline. I think the Super Scroll was kind of the start of that.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see what comes up next. Um, where it comes when it comes. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm not in a hurry. The way I see it, if they space it out, I can too because it keeps me collecting longer. The
Yeah.
more I start thinking of end game, the quicker that's going to come, and then I'll be on to something else. Um, see, he didn't quit. He didn't quit. He didn't quit. I know what he got too. He didn't quit. He's getting more. Yeah, no, I mean, and I don't want to see it end. I don't want to see it end. So
Yeah. I don't either. And I think the the craziest thing about being newer is like you see collections of like people like yourself, people like art statue collector, people like Thor's collection, Six collection, Arches, anybody you can name. And as somebody new, it's almost like you, even though like you're the one physically here in your collection, it's almost like you want that same satisfaction of a more completer look, more closer
yeah,
to that 100. And I think when I was new, that's kind of like what drove me crazy. And it's the craziest thing I'm about to say is like she was helping me hang up some art prints just last night, and we were looking around at the collection, and she was helping me. And I said, "Damn, you know what's crazy? I don't have one single statue in my collection from when I first started a year and a half ago. Because you
that
were
happens
just
to a lot
buying
of
any
people.
and everything. Like, I don't have one single. And it's crazy because I had the PCS Mortal Kombat 1/4, and I was like, yo, I'll never get rid of this. This is the greatest statue ever.
Hmm.
It was my first statue. But it wasn't the greatest statue. It was just that first one that you got. You
Yeah.
didn't even care about the
Uh,
character. I liked Mortal Kombat, but I didn't even care. I didn't care about Kodokan. Like, but it was just getting stuff to get it. But now I have a focus. I love
yeah.
X-Men. I love Spider-Man. I love the Avengers. I love Predator. And it's like I know that's more like a lot, but for the space of the room I have it all mapped out, and it's basically just laser focused now on the scale,
Yeah.
the setup, and everything.
And it's your collection, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
And for a newer collector out there, and I was one too. I mean, it's easy to get worked up and crazy and all of this fun stuff, and you want to keep up and you want to be just like everybody else, but you can't do it at the expense of your own
yeah,
personal finances. You should have other goals besides this, and it's easy to forget sometimes that this is only a hobby and these are just
yeah,
things, and there are other things that are much more important. For me, if this meant that I wasn't going to be able to do anything for my wife, for my daughters, or my son-in-law, my granddaughter, I would stop collecting in a heartbeat. Luckily, I don't have to do that right now, and I don't foresee that happening right now. But that's what makes it so fun is because I can make it fun. Um, People feel the pressure of having to keep up, and so they run up credit card bills and start doing things that they shouldn't do just to keep up with who. um,
yeah, yeah,
and that's the thing, and a lot of it's just because we get worked up in this, so it's easy to do. I know I was there. I learned. I got some great advice from Thor early on. Was to find your focus early, and stick to it, and if you change it, be prepared to lose it all. And luckily I haven't done
hmm,
that. I sold my bow in pieces, but I haven't sold a single 1/4 statue because I've been happy with the direction that I've gone, and I'm excited for the pieces that I have coming in the future. I mean, Apocalypse was one of the bigger ones that I was most excited about getting. So um, that's cool. That's cool. I'm excited to see what's next and what other people get.
yeah, yeah. And in touching on that, I kind of find that you know, at first it kind of was like I was okay with maybe you'd miss out on something, and because that's really what happened with Apocalypse. Like I looked at it, I saw it, I'm like, oh, not doing that, and then obviously as the time pass by as the months from, first reveal, production, etc. And then all of a sudden you finally know your focus, no different than what you were saying about Thor. And it's like, if only I had my focus before, you'd actually have more of the pieces you actually wanted,
Yeah.
opposed to now having to hunt down a couple, or seeing or waiting on a deal, or whatnot. At any
Yeah.
particular time with you in this hobby, have you ever, I guess more so in the beginning, did you ever struggle between playing catch up? I'm getting the new stuff, but there's also some old stuff I got to go back and get.
No, because I don't focus on a specific piece unless I really want it. I focus more on the character because I don't double up on a whole lot. Once I get the character that I really like or what I want to have, then I zero in on the piece that I want to get. And once I'm satisfied with that, then that piece is in the collection, then I'm happy as a clam. A great example of that is this custom beast right here.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a beast, and that's always been my favorite, hands down. That's always been my favorite. But he doesn't come up for sale too often. And once I was able to see him for sale, I jumped on it, and I've been no other beast, in my opinion, has been better than that one. It's really impressive.
So, is there any characters, whether X-Men or etc. with Marvel, that you want XM to tackle?
Well, there's a long list of X-Men. We could be here for another 3 hours talking about that. But obviously a Sinister on the X-Men side. I would love to see someone do a Dazzler. You'd never see her. In the Spidey universe, put me on the spot there. Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Hobgoblin would be one for sure. A better Kingpin.
Yeah. How do you? Okay, I actually have that Kingpin, and do you consider that a throne piece?
Yes.
Or he's just in a chair?
No, it's a throne piece. The way they define throne pieces now, it's a throne piece.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's just not how I want to see my Kingpin.
I like the concept of it, but I want to see more. So like that would be one where I would upgrade in the future. I just want to see a little bit more out of it. But I'm very happy and content with it. Like if they never make another one, like I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to use the word content, but I'm happy with it. I'd like to see XM do a Havoc. I think that would be a cool character.
Who? Havoc?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The problem with
doubt it.
Havoc is not only which uniform you're going to have him wear, because you're going to be split there, but showing his power is really difficult. That's why you don't even see him too much in the custom world.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I'd love to see Havoc. I'd love to see Polaris. Good Polaris would be really great.
I'd actually like to see a Bullseye. I know it's been done by Sideshow before in the old Comic-Cat 1/5, but I like to see a quarter scale Bullseye.
Yeah. No, Bullseye is good.
I mean, they did Daredevil, Elektra, Iron Fist. So I would like to see Bullseye, but I doubt it'll get done. Even characters like Luke Cage never got done, so I doubt. But we shall see. None. I also asked you, like in California, because out over here in the Midwest, in the good old state of Nebraska, there's not very many comic shops, and I'm pretty sure that's the complete opposite for you. When's the last time you actually been to a comic shop, and do you actually still collect physical books?
Oh yeah. Actually, my private personal comic collection is actually bigger than my statue collection.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, there's some great places here. My higher end stuff is kept away outside the house for safeguarding. But yeah, no, I've got going to the conventions up and down the West Coast. You really meet a lot of great collectors in that hobby, and dealers that really watch out for you. And I've found a couple that have really been great. Really, really been great.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm actually gonna show this here. I'm actually gonna show this here. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of excited. So any chance I get, I'm kind of showing it. But I'm showing it because this is my first mutant that I'm getting, so I'm very excited for that. And then also like, this is my very first time in a comic shop, man. So forgive me, man. Forgive me. Very first time in the comic shop, and this is by Lan Rogue. So I thought it was like a very cool cover. I'm very happy, excited to have it. So cool, man. But
That's
I've
awesome.
learned a lot, man. I've learned a lot in the hobby, man. I didn't know anything about bagged and boarded,
Oh yeah,
variant covers. I didn't know any of that stuff. So like talking to like Danny Lee and
yeah. Danny's really great
Jerry,
collector too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, dude, he freaking enabled me last night, and I freaking got a CGC because it was like 2 in the morning, man.
Yeah. I actually learned to press my own books, and
Oh, really?
became pretty successful at that too. I would never do anybody else's, but uh, yeah, that was actually quite an interesting project.
Nice, nice.
I I worked up the nerve to press my ASM number 2, and that came out really really well, really really well. That went
Cool.
from a 4 to a 6.5.
Nice, nice. So is your overall goal to like have most of your collection graded or select few here and there?
Of my silver and bronze age, 95% of it is slabbed.
Nice. Cool, man. Now how like when did this come apart for somebody like myself who knows nothing about this? Did CGC is this something newer or because
Mm.
you see like the 3.0s and it's like these are the comics that like your dad or something was reading and bending and messing all up and stuff and
Yeah.
so it's like how soon this stuff started getting graded.
A long time ago. Long time ago, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even longer than that. CGC started, and um, has been kind of the gold standard ever since. There's a couple others out there. And to be honest with you, it's just like, our hobby here, you
Mm-hmm.
can make your mistakes there as well. I sent stuff in to get graded that I shouldn't have, and where I didn't get it pressed and cleaned before I sent it in. And, you can end up spending a nice, pretty penny without dropping a sweat and wishing that you hadn't. So, and you could ruin a lot of stuff too. So, and then of course, for me, you're shipping all of that across country, which,
Yeah.
when you're sending in, ASM 1 through 20 across this country, uh, not all at once, of course, but you're watching that tracking every 10 minutes until that thing lands in Sarasota.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you, man. Like, it's crazy. Like today, Prime One statue came in today, and I seen the FedEx guy, and I know him, which is I'm like I probably should have just stopped him, but I seen him, and he's like 3 blocks down the street, and I'm like, okay, he'll be here any minute. Then he's like 2 blocks up the street. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And he's like all over, and I'm following the track, and like, yo, what is going on? I see him, and so I know the feeling of like I gotta just make sure it's okay. You know what I mean? And that has to be like the crazy thing about it is like there's probably somebody who's actually done that. Like they've sent in all key issues or whatever, and like just to think something could get lost in the mail is also another scary thing that you may not be able to get it back, or if you
Yeah.
do, it may be a much higher cost or whatever.
Well, it's what insurance is for, and and all
Hmm.
of that. And again, I go back to what I kind of said before. These are all just things.
Yeah,
Um, I'd rather something bad happen to one of these things, or a comic or something like that, than something happen to a member of my family or one of my close friends.
yeah,
That means more to me than any of this other stuff. So,
yeah, no doubt. And favorite Spider-Man statue?
ooh, you
Is it
know,
the Rhino?
it's not Rhino. Freaking Rodney dared me. No, he pushed my button, so I had to get Rhino. You know what? They're all good. God, that's a good question. I was chasing Electro for a long time. Electro, I think Doc Ock, I think is the best one. But Electro might be my favorite because I was chasing that one down for a while. And ironically, I got it from Todd.
Wow. Just a call away, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, the one that I want the most is probably Doc Ock, and I would say a second is Lizard. Those are the two
Lizard's
I
a
want the
good one
most.
too. Lizard to
Yeah.
me, I don't have Lizard. A lot of that was because it doesn't look to be as comic accurate as the other ones. It doesn't seem to fit in with the rest. Jerry's mentioning the XM Goblin. I have that too. That one's incredible too.
Oh, I
Honestly,
love that one. Yeah.
there's not a bad one in the line. As far as comics go, I don't know if anything's better comic wise than the XM Spidey line. To me personally, I don't have any of them, but just from what I've seen, their G1 Transformer line is the best line they do. Hands down. Hands down.
Yeah, Transformers is a very big IP, man. People love Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
You have the XM collectors, you got the Prime One collectors.
Mm-hmm.
People love Transformers. I've seen
Yeah.
like Warren Dante's collection, and it's just like, man, there's some definitely good things out there. XM still needs to kill it on a Spider-Man. So you don't think there's a definitive Spider-Man, Jerry?
So the current XM Spider-Man, which I have, he's the centerpiece up there. I like it a lot. It's very dynamic. And it kind of encompasses a lot of the villains in there that kind of gets overlooked. But when you compare him to the rest of the line,
I can see that, yeah.
that's where they could really do him justice. Now, like if XM was to do a symbiote Spider-Man, that would be awesome.
So how do you feel about their what's it called? Carnage from the XM Cinepore shop.
Are you talking about the Absolute Carnage?
Yeah, Absolute Carnage, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that one. I think it almost kind of has the same pose as the Iron Fist. And I think that's kind of the thing that people need to realize sometimes when they see these statues and these companies make these statues is they're trying to do something for everybody. They've already done a Carnage. This is an Absolute Carnage, which is a completely different storyline doing completely different things. And I don't think it's a bad thing that they speak to that. Now, if you look at Cable, I don't know if they should have done another Cable. It was too soon. The OG is still probably the better one. There was a lot of other pieces that they could do instead of another Cable, even with Hope. I do not have Scorpion. Scorpion, I will be actually on the hunt for XM Scorpion the end of this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that will last as long as Electro to find it?
That will be even harder to find.
Now, when you are looking for a piece such as Scorpion, Electro, etc., are you looking for it at a specific price, or are you kind of open?
Well, the market kind of sets itself. However, there's also only so much I'm going to be willing to do. Yeah. So if somebody's going to be willing to negotiate, then we can come to a deal. But if they're not, then if they're not meeting my price, there's just a lot of people that are trying to make a quick buck out there and over, pricing their pieces that they're trying to sell. You have to be reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you do get the flip side where, you have the seller that's moving or, whatever, and they can't keep them due to space or, they need the money or whatnot. You come across that a lot too.
Well, you know who the flippers are. You definitely know who the flippers are.
Oh, yeah. 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 You'll see certain statues and they'll be like $2,000 and it's still available in stock too. It's like, come on, man. I see
Yeah.
that a lot.
And you have to be willing to wait. I
Yeah.
waited for Electro. It finally came. Geez, I waited, a year and a half for him.
So you've
So
learned patience, is what you're saying.
you have to. You have to. You have to know your limits. You have to know your limits, and you have to realize that you can't break the bank just because it's sitting in front of you. Sometimes it's okay to say no. If it's not the right deal, it's not the right deal. You have to be smart with your money.
Yeah. Huh.
My wife's grandfather would always say, you may have a lot of money, but that doesn't mean you're giving it away. And that is very true.
That's a good saying. Yeah, that's a good saying. Yeah. Oh man, I need to remember that every single time I'm about to press order. Hold on, let me check.
It doesn't mean you're giving it away.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. And it's crazy because even if you speaking about money and you look at the PO list, right? There was at one point in time, and I know certain collectors, they shall remain nameless, but I know certain collectors, at least two come to mind. One has about 35 pre-orders. Another collector has about 25 pre-orders. And I'm not gonna lie, I had got up there. It was about 24, give or take. I have it all the way down to 7, and it feels good. Excuse me, 8. It feels good to it's almost like a weight lifted off your shoulder of just needing everything. Some of the stuff got paid off, some of the stuff got canceled. Luckily I was able to get back my money. A lot of the NRDs and stuff from Sideshow, I was able to get that back, so that was pretty cool. Have you ever found yourself dug in a pre-order hole or anything like that?
No, because I knew my limits. I knew what I was going to do. I knew what I was willing to do, and I don't go over that. You have to be, I try to stay as disciplined as I can, no matter how much Jerry's pushing me. I have to be, disciplined in this hobby. It's just one of those things. I currently am sitting on a decent amount of pre-orders right now, but there's a plan for it all. And, I'm down the road on a lot of the follow-up payments on a lot of those. So, it's not going to hit what's hurting the community more than anything else. And I know, I've talked about it on my show. I've talked about it, on some of the other shows too. Shipping is really what's going to kill this hobby, and it's going to do it sooner rather than later.
Now, is that just for fan art stuff, or that's for license as well?
No, that'll be for license too. I'm looking at this big blue and purple guy here, and to get him here express was $850.
Wow.
Putting him on the slow boat was $390. So that's still, I was paying $390 for express, actually less than that for express on some of these. So it's hurting. It's hurting because that's almost another statue, and you're going to have to factor in almost 50% of the cost of a custom fan art piece into what you're willing to pay for that. But you're going to get really excited because you got into the group that you really wanted to get into, and they put out a piece that you really, really like, and you have to get it. And so you put your non-refundable deposit down of 1/3, and you're never going to see that money again. If you don't follow through, you're never going to see that money again. And you'll be a couple more payments down the road, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're not going to hear anything. And then out of nowhere, they're going to hit you with the final payment, and they're going to tell you it's shipping in 3 weeks, and you're going to have to come up with shipping for that. If you're willing and able to take on that kind of hit, hey, more power to you. Congratulations. But you have to be ready for that. And unfortunately, a lot of collectors aren't ready for that. And so as a result, if you pay attention, you see a lot of people selling their pre-orders. And the sad thing about that is they're selling their pre-orders and they're trying to make money on selling their pre-orders,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is dumb. They're not going to be able to do that if the commissioner allows them to sell it.
So before anybody was to get into a custom group or looking for a certain character, is there any, like, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, red flags you would tell that first timer to look for or to steer away from?
Sometimes you don't know until you're in the group, and sometimes you don't know until you've purchased and to get into the group. I would freaking Jerry kills me. It's funny. Speaking of Jerry, we talk about this all the time. I would look at the amount of pre-orders that group has put out and look to see how many of those they've delivered on. And if it's been a while and they have countless POs, you might just want to take a pause and just wait to see what happens before you do any more. Now, what I've always tried to do is with the fan art side is I don't order another piece from them until I have the first one I got from them in hand. That way I know that I'm going to, for the most part, I'm going to get it. And let's be honest, in that world, you're not safe. Even with the PayPal protection, you're not safe. So you just have to, again, I'll revert back to the community. If I'm talking to people and they're saying, yeah, no, you're going to be okay there, then you'll be okay there. But if you don't know anything about it, or if it's a new group and it's with someone that you don't know, I'd be careful. Especially now. I'm don't get me wrong. I love the fan art pieces that I have, and I have some amazing ones coming that I really cannot wait for. I'm a big Franco guy. And so more than half of my custom pre-orders right now are Franco pieces. I don't know if I'd get into it again. I don't, and not only that, but the license companies are doing such great stuff, especially Prime One and XM are doing such great stuff. I don't know if even if I'm a new collector to even look at the fan art route. XM's getting bigger and bigger.
Hey, real quick, looks like Edwin's trying to find out. Do you know what Chris's show is?
To sub right now, Jerry. Yeah, I think Edwin's knows what show we're on.
I guess I'm asking because, like, Cyclops, for example. Let's say you get a custom Cyclops. You really like it. It's the your first order in that group, and the companion piece, I don't know, Jean Grey. But you're saying until you get that first one in hand, you'd hold off on that Jean Grey. But sometimes is that even possible? Because
it's always
companion's
possible.
Going to sell out.
It's always possible. Your example is valid. However, there's always another X-Men piece coming. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
It is by far the most overdone character group out there. Shoot, how many Magnetos and Wolverines do you see?
Oh man, yeah, Magneto, Wolverine, Venom.
Yeah.
Every week, every.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to understand too. A lot of these fan art groups really were created because the license companies weren't doing some of these characters, and so the only way you can get some of these characters if you went off on your own and you did it yourself, and so you'd get a character that you never saw before or saw enough of, and now that they saw the money and they know how much is there. That's why you see Magneto, Wolverine, Venom. It's saturated now.
Yeah. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, it's I feel like it's all a learning process, but I don't want to ever learn in terms of like, oh, I lost some money. Learn, what I mean? I want to learn by like asking, opposed to like, damn, I'm down $600 and I can't get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
which is scary, man. It really is. But it's funny that you had kind of alluded to that previously because I'm kind of in the same boat now to where it's like once said number of POs are gone or whatnot, like I do want to like just steer away because like I know certain companies aren't for everyone. Like some people don't like XM, some people don't like Sideshow or whoever else, Tweeterhead, whoever else you can name. But I do feel like there's enough of licensed companies out there to where like between them all, you'll get the scale and character you want. Like you said, X-Men. There's a lot of Cyclops
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
Magnetos and that are licensed, so you'll get them, and it's a lot safer and just a lot safer. And I really
Yeah.
like what XM is doing. I like what they're doing. They always tweak the, I guess you could say, the community feedback. So
Yeah.
I think you're safe.
Yeah. No, and that's what's kind of cool is being a part of that is some of the commissioners out there can be a little sensitive, and it's their project, and they're usually the ones who are doing the art directing on there, and so they have a personal pride into the project, and I would be I would be the same way probably. Um, so you have to give it up to the folks at XM for having the ability to take that kind of criticism.
Oh wow, Paulie, that's a crazy story. Wow.
Yeah, there,
Sorry
and
that
you know
happened,
what?
man.
It- there's a lot of stories like Polly's out there. A lot. That's why you have these shows. These shows will help you steer clear.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And to as we're winding down to the tail end of the show, I gotta ask you a question. And this is a question I always ask. Some people rant. Some people got a little bit to get off the chest. The segment is called "Now You Know." It's basically mirrored off of Family Guys from Peter Griffin's. You know what really grinds my gears? Is there anything in the community, whether it's licensed, fan art, YouTube, Facebook groups, selling, shipping, anything in the community of collecting that you like to get off your chest?
Ooh, I see. How do I say this, Jerry? This is for you. I think the thing that grinds my gears a little bit is in the fan art world, some of the commissioners aren't business people, and
Yeah.
that shows in a lot of ways. Um, in the business world, there's certain aspects of running a company, and you have to look at some of these statute groups as running a company, and part of that is being responsible with the funds that are coming in for your company, and knowing that you have people that you're serving. In this case, you're serving the collecting community that is entrusting you with their hard-earned dollars, whether it's coming from however it's coming from. They're still giving you cash, and you owe them a little bit more than what the current community is getting in terms of communication, in terms of interaction. Some do it better than others, but and I understand that some of it is a little bit of a language barrier sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I think they could smooth over a lot of things if they were to interact a lot more with their groups and be a little bit more fluid and with the communication as to what's going on with some of these pieces. And don't worry, because I know there's a lot of worry out there as in terms of people wondering where their money's going and why it's been tied up for so long. Um, Got to be honest with you, that's the thing that frustrates me the most is and like I said, some of the commissioners out there are fantastic,
Hmm.
and they do a really good job. Some of them don't care. Honestly, I'll
Yeah.
straight up say it.
Yeah.
Some of them, it does not matter to them, and that is abundantly clear, and it's frustrating. And you know, you just, it's like going into business with anything. You just have to do your research, know who you're dealing with, and assessing the risk, and being prepared to accept a certain level of risk. And once you're solid on those grounds, then you could proceed, you know, fairly well, knowing that, you know, you're confident in your ability to make this decision. But too often at times, and I think everybody in the chat would be able to um, you know, acknowledge this because they've seen it. There's just so much excitement out there, and everything's
Yeah.
a grail. And I have to have this. It's the greatest thing that I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, you're hurting my wallet. Oh my gosh, take my money, please. And that's the dangerous part, and that's the thing that everybody kind of has to um, worry about. And like I said, the business angle with some of these groups really just drives me nutty.
Yeah, yeah. No, I could definitely see that. You know, I hear a lot where, you know, the commissioner maybe has some personal stuff going on, to where like they, you know, you just don't hear from them for like a month and a half in certain groups, you know, opposed to like maybe making a post or an email to the people who've ordered something like, hey, you know, we'll closing shop for a month, we'll be back, or, you know,
Yeah.
holiday break, or hey, Chinese New Year at the factory, so, you know, we're shut down, you know, for 3 weeks or whatnot. So I think that would be kind of cool. And to ask a predated question, you know, one last time here, the earlier you, was there any family member at all, or just yourself, that kind of really like kind of geared you to, you know, comics or Spider-Man, or anyone that you watched this with, an older brother, sister, a cousin, anyone at all?
No,
No.
no, I've always been the kind of individual that's kind of forged my own path, and I like what I like, and I find ways to be successful with the things that I want to do, and this hobby is one of them. I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish, and I'm very proud of the
Yeah.
avenues that I've taken. Um, you know, the collection speaks for itself because there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
work that goes into a comic collection. Something that we hadn't even touched on is my my art collection that I have here is just as, if not better than my comic and my statue collection. And that's how I see it. I see it as art, and I appreciate it for what it is. And that's what's always kind of drawn me to it. Kind of been a lone ranger, at least in my family with it. My brother a little bit, but not to the level that I am. Um,
Yeah.
but I've always been one to kind of forge my own path.
So at the cons, are you kind of always at Artist Alley?
Yeah, so I was I've always been able to, for the most part, get in touch with them before I arrived, and work out something um, to be able to, you know, get whatever that I wanted or wanted done. And I've been able to have some really great pieces of art done that are showstoppers for sure by the artist that drew the books, which is like the best part.
Yeah, no doubt. And so you also mentioned having daughters. Do they think you're the cool dad,
I
for
have a
having all this,
granddaughter,
or
sir.
oh man.
Um, you know what? That's a question for them. I don't think that they would admit to that. Um, my son-in-law probably would, but I don't think either one of my daughters would say that. I probably talk about this a little too much, so they're always kind of rolling their eyes. But I know deep down inside, I know they're probably pretty proud of dad, pretty happy with dad. So I'll take it. I love him to death, and I wouldn't trade him for the world.
Cool, man, cool. And touching on the movie scene, is there any particular Marvel movie that you're looking forward to seeing the most now, or any one that has never been made that you would love to see made?
Oh, they're making everything. I'm really looking forward to Doctor Strange. I am. I'm really looking forward to Doctor Strange. Um, I'd like to see them, and I think they'll do it, but I'd really like to see them expand on the Daredevil universe. Um,
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. I would love to see, and I'd love to see a Dio of this, but I've always been a huge fan of the Heroes for Hire, And the Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Danny Rand dynamic is something
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed, and I'd love to see that fleshed out a little bit more, either through the shows or its own movie. But I would love a dio of those two together. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be cool. They could do it, have them facing off against the Wrecking Crew, from the old comics. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Do you feel the combination between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch is going to be a good, as the main characters? I'm assuming they're both the main characters from the trailer. Do you think that's going to be a good on-field chemistry?
I think so. I've always been a big fan of both of those characters. Up until the MCU, I just never thought Scarlet Witch got a lot of love. And I think the MCU really brought her to life. Just not only how powerful she is, but how insane she could be sometimes, and how could she let the madness take hold of her. I think is always, an interesting dynamic. And Doctor Strange could be whatever he wants to be whenever he wants to be it. His books can be a little tough to read sometimes, especially if you're a new reader into comics. But I like Doctor Strange a lot too. And get the omnibuses; those are the best ways.
Okay, all right. Y'all gonna bust me for this, but I'm gonna show what I got, and then I was informed I got the wrong thing. So I was like, come on, man, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? All right, so I had got the Masterworks, right?
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
So I got X-Men and Spider-Man, and then see real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Covers, yeah.
That's awesome.
So
the early Silver Age stuff is interesting to read now, and how they wrote things. I always am blown away. Especially on the Spidey side. Fantastic Four, the way they talk to Sue sometimes is just, it blows me away. Like, you can never get away with a lot of that stuff today.
I heard Jerry and Arch talking about that, to where it's just like, you could tell it was just a different time, man. Just a different time.
Well, you know what? I mean, there's a lot of history there. It's pop culture history, but it's also American culture history. And if you really think about it, comic books are one of the few. It may be the first really truly American cultural pop culture anything that it started here. And I mean, music was someplace else, the movies, maybe, that there's a little bit of debate there, but, comics really started here and really grew and took off here, and it's its form of media now. And there's been a lot of really great things that have come from that. And we enjoy a lot of things from comic books. What's funny is there's a lot of movies and there's a lot of TV shows that people watch today, and they had no idea that was a comic book before.
Yeah, and speaking of that, do you think Neymar will ever get any on-screen recognition?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be there. He'll be there for sure. The way they're going, they'll flesh all those characters out one way or another.
Okay, cool, man, cool. Now, the final question that I have, and it kind of stumps up some people. Some people get it. Some people they need a little bit of time, man. The most funniest person was probably Todd, because he wanted to redo. Probably Todd. He wanted to redo. So Mount Rushmore. In Mount Rushmore, could be any sport. Baseball, basketball, soccer. Mount Rushmore musicians. And if you're talking football, we'll say quarterbacks. So my Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, I got Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, and heck, man, we'll throw Aaron Rodgers in there. All right, Mount Rushmore. What is your Mount Rushmore of superheroes?
Well, Spidey, obviously. Reed Richards.
Okay.
Can they be villains?
Yeah, sure.
Doom.
That's interesting. Reed Richards. Doom. Okay, followed by Doom.
Doom. And man, that's tough. God, that's real tough. Maybe Daredevil.
Really?
Maybe Daredevil. Possibly Cyclops.
Okay. Honorable mention 5 with Cyclops. Okay.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna
no
make me think
Silver
about that for a while too. I'm gonna be thinking about that later. That is a good one though.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. That was definitely cool. I'm surprised you said Reed Richards. Nobody's ever said that. I've heard Spider-Man before, but Reed Richards is never heard that one.
If I didn't say Spider-Man, do you know how much crap I would have received tomorrow?
Oh man, yeah, Spider-Man, Reed Richards, Doom, and Daredevil. Cool, man. That's a pretty solid list. Solid list. Yeah, man. Cool, man. Well, hey, I definitely appreciate you coming. You know, like I said before, anybody is welcome to come on the show. It's just something fun to do in the community. Get to meet different individuals. Get to learn a little bit more about them. Just kind of have a good one-on-one chat. Have a good time. Have fun. Talk anything pop culture. Whether it's movies. Heck, I remember one episode I just started going on about wrestling. We literally just started talking about the Undertaker and all the old matches and stuff. And you never know what's going to happen on here.
You never know. That's part of a great conversation.
So real quick before we get you out of here, are there any wrestlers that you grew up on that you were just a really big fan of?
Man, I was 80s wrestling. So,
Ric Flair?
Yeah, I mean the bigger names, I wasn't incredibly into it, but we did watch it on occasion. But Hogan and Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. I remember playing with him as a kid on the video games, man. That was some fun times, man. Some fun times. Oh man. Well, hey everybody out there, this has been episode 27 of the Cash and Out Show. I want to thank all of you guys for coming and staying tuned for the entire time. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Next week we will be back with Luke. That's right, Luke from Australia. So it will be Thursday for us, but Friday for him. So I appreciate Luke for coming on next week. Again, Kris, thank you very much for coming on and spending the hour with me. Definitely appreciate it. And any last words to the chat, man? Yeah, just check us out tomorrow. The DCX show. We've got Art Statue Collector joining us live from Thailand. He's going to be showing us his collection and his new gallery. So we're really looking forward to that and checking him out and getting to know him a little bit. And of course, as most of you know, with the bright lights of Friday night, you never know what's going to happen and the craziness that ensues when you get the group of us together. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it. So check us out tomorrow night. And any word on Darth Rashid's Apocalypse? Will it make it by tomorrow's show? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. He didn't tell me, but if he does, I know how it's going to get displayed. Oh man, 100%. Shout out Darth Rashid, man. Everybody out there, you guys take care, and remember, man, cash out, man. Good night, everyone. Cash in your life, put some cash in your life. If your cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life, put some cash in